Going back to base now, I set the thrust override to a percentage of 100%. So now we go forward. And I point slightly upwards, above the horizon, so we go up. And don't crash into any mountains. Also, it's nice how you can set an actual override percentage now. Before that it was just up-down by 5%. That's nice. I think it will also work with other mechanical things. So you can do a lot more stuff now. It wasn't always like this. We can turn on the lights. Also, before heading out, I bought some more data pads, like 17. Checked through all of them, only got one more station. So, we pretty much exhausted probably most of the stations you can get from that station. I think they only give us like elite actions probably with them. Yeah, because it's all AMDR, ASMC. Actually, how many factions are there? Yeah, look at that. There's a lot of factions. I could set up a automatic route by remote control, but I don't really trust it. And it's more efficient to just do it by hand. Because the remote control autopilot is not very efficient with thrust. It just keeps firing all the thrusters in all directions. Oh yeah, turns out we can make this thruster component contract. We need 84 of them. And they only require 4/10 of platinum ingot per component. So we can do it if we want to. Because we have 100 of platinum ingots that we bought. So you... Anyway, it's another day compared to when I flew to the station. And while I was just going around my day, I was thinking, we do want to make a mobile base. I was thinking something like it has wheels on the bottom so you can land and convert it to station without it clipping into the ground and being unconvertible to ship. Then we have some atmospheric thrusters, processing, just normal base stuff. And at the top we can have a bunch of wind turbines that when it's static it will generate energy. Because we don't really have that many reliable power sources. I guess we could buy uranium, but free energy is much better. You know, actually on the topic of free energy, the funny joke, if the universe wanted people to have infinite energy, it would put a fusion reactor in the sky. But not also is sun like a pretty good energy source. The funny thing is we have a nuclear reactor inside of the Earth as well. Like, I'm not sure from where the geothermal energy comes from, but I think some part of it is nuclear reactions. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's part of it. But it's really interesting that if you just go deep underground a few kilometers in any spot, you can reach like boiling water temperature in like 3 kilometers, I think. But for proper reactor operation you need, what is it, like superheated steam? I don't remember the temperature of that. But basically if you go underground anywhere on Earth, you can just get infinite free energy. It's crazy, we have so many energy sources everywhere. And storage is not a problem. There's like those, what is it? I also don't remember the proper term for it, but basically salt batteries that are very heavy, but they are also very cheap, don't require any like cobalt resource extraction, and they are very fire resistant. So that's an option. Then we have not hydrothermal, just hydro storage as an option. A classic. And you only need batteries for smaller vehicles. larger vehicles would benefit from just direct energy transfer. Like trains and stuff, and trams. We should have tram tracks on every street, because it's much more efficient to transport cargoes by rail. We could have more cargo transported per a single driver, and it's more energy efficient. And if you have steep hills, you could either have rubber tires, or you could have like a, what is it? Pinion rack railway, whatever it's called. Basically, the stuff that goes up mountains at a very steep slope. We have the technology, we just need the political will to invest into the infrastructure and build it, because... And it's not a wasteful investment compared to what we spend on roads and how little they benefit actually people. It would be just an investment upfront and then maintenance costs much lower. Plus, by having higher density transit, you could save a lot more space on like parking, the roads themselves. Plus, you could build closer to the transport, because highways are extremely loud and polluting. Even with electric cars, you still have microplastics from the tires. Yeah, that's one thing, that tires, like even with electric cars, especially with electric cars, you destroy them even quicker because the cars are heavier. And unless we come up with some way to make, I don't know, organic tires or something like that. I bet there's technology for that, it just wouldn't resist the high speeds of the highway. And would be more expensive as an upfront investment. But the good thing is, the interesting thing is, with any technology you can make it cheaper as you go. So you just, instead of doing the cheapest stuff you can right now, you should do the most effective stuff you can right now, and then come up with a way to make it cheaper. Of course, there's a reasonable limit to that, but as a general goal, it is a better idea than just doing the most inefficient stuff, the most efficient stuff right now. Or it's the easiest stuff, whatever. I confused myself. Anyway, free energy. Yay! Anyway, let's see uranium ingots consumption in the menu up there, the direction I'm looking towards over here. 0.083 per second at maximum power output. 300 megawatts. That's a lot of megawatts. Let me open my calculator. Calculator. I'm searching calculator and where's my calculator? Windows? Hello? What happened to my calculator? Oh, of course. My PC is in Swedish. That's why. It's not calculator, it's calculator. It starts with a K, not a C. Calculator. Calculator med grafunction. Okay. 1 divided by 0.08. Okay, 12. Yeah, makes sense. So 12 seconds for one uranium ingot maximum power output. And we have 100 of them. So that's 1200 seconds maximum power output. That's only 20 minutes. But if we have a lower power output, then we can last like up to an hour of active use. Actually, let's see, how much does this base weigh? Okay, it doesn't show here. I think it still shows with build info overlay. If we do this, show center of mass. There, 700 kilos. Okay, 700 kilos, 700 tons. And to reliably lift it... Okay, it can hover pretty much in full atmospheric density. With this thruster, to reliably lift it, we would need 2. And to safely fly around, we would need 4. Let's see, it's just like... One of them consumes 17 megawatts. So it's 68 megawatts. 68 megawatts. We already have a 20 megawatt wind turbine array, and it's pretty cheap to build. Because let's see, how much reactor? Yeah, reactor, look at this. So 10,000 silver ingots. Oh my god. This is insane. And then you need to also burn uranium inside of it. Compared to that, wind turbines, for the same cost of a reactor you can build, just for the iron cost, you could build like 100 wind turbines. Which would give you like 30 megawatts constant free power. So it's 10 times less, more annoying to build, but way cheaper. Solar panels are just don't seem to be as good as wind turbines. Let's see, I don't have any in here, but yeah, even the big ones only 160 kilowatts. That's pretty small compared to like 300, 400 you can get from one wind turbine. And you need more space for them and orient them properly. I do wonder how much they cost actually. Let's see. Solar. They are much cheaper, but they do require a lot of silicon. So, interesting. Interesting stuff. But yeah, wind turbines seem like the better choice. Solar panels are good as a just backup power on mobile grids where wind turbines don't work. And they are flat, so you can just put them on the roof. If you have free flat spots on your ship, just cover them with solar panels. if you're playing without PCU limits, because they will consume PCU to build them. But we are single player, no PCU, so that's nice. Anyway, I want to also see how much does a large thruster cost. Thruster... Only not that much iron. It's easy to get iron. Cobalt also reasonable amount. Nickel, 5700 per single thruster. But apparently nickel is not that hard to get either, because we refined like a bunch of it. We have 14k in here. Nickel ingot. Yeah. So that's pretty good. Yeah, I forgot if I said it or not, but I upgraded my tools to the final tier and got the best rifle. In terms of, I don't know if it's really the best. It's pretty good. It's not as fun as the rapid fire one, but I think it has higher damage. And like it has a large magazine and it's more precise. So I think all of them have their niche use. But this one is just pretty good overall. Because the precision one is just like a sniper rifle. The rapid fire one is rapid fire one, and this one is more of a like something you would actually use practically at all ranges. I wonder how fast we weld. Let's see. Oh wow, we grind really fast. And we weld really fast, it seems like. Okay, we just have to do it to a block that's not actually being welded by the welder. Yeah, it's noticeably faster. It's not crazy fast. Plus we also have the buff. So all of that combined results in a pretty good speed. I have designed and now welding up the large miner. Small, large miner. It's pretty big. 8 upward thrusters, 10 drills, survival kit, 4 dumping connectors. Then we have connectors here to attach the big ore detector, like this, in the back. It's pretty powerful, pretty good, I think. Just a brick of a machine. Also, I moved the cockpit down because it's much more useful to have the cockpit below, because your field of vision is upwards and you can't really see down in the cockpit, so you want to be at the lowest point so you can have full visibility of the entire ship. Because like with this, you don't really see what's going on down there. Seems like it's time to test out our new gun. Well, that was easy. Yippee! Alright, I am almost done with welding the miner. More food. We have so much food stockpiled. Things are going great. Okay, we are at a good battery percentage. Not maximum, but good enough. Let's dock to the new ore detector thingy I made here. And let's see, roll around. Right, it doesn't have downward thrust, so I can't just turn over. Let's see, where did it go? There it is. Careful, careful. There we go. Alright, I think I should add connector. Where is it? Rear. And switch lock. There we go. Also, we need to rear connector. Just disable it for parking, just in case. Right, there we go. Yep. Now we have the detector attached. Perfect. And now we can do some test mining. I think this ice deposit here is actually a pretty good target. Let's see how it's attached. Yep. Looks good. Not very compact, but it works. Let's see, sandstorm. Okay, not electric. The weather lately has been just sandstorms and electric storms all the time, for some reason. Let's see. Well, so far it mines pretty well. I'm not sure what I expected. But this thing can bring like 200 tons of ore. Totally fine. Back to base. So that's quite an improvement over the previous stuff. The ore detector is kind of in the way of the camera. You could add one to the ore detector itself, probably. Okay. I just need to be careful to not obliterate the ship, because it is pretty heavy. You have to be careful driving this. Okay, let's just make a bigger hole. And there we go. I will need to get used to the new size of it, because it's a lot bigger than the previous ships. We flew. And there we go. Lots of war. Or ice, in this case. Yeah, I also expanded the base a little bit to put the connector here. I will start expanding these containers instead of conveyors, because it's much easier to do it, since they are much bigger. Alright, let's go try mining an iron deposit. Let's see. Not the best weather for this, but it is what it is. Let's see, do we have any... This iron is depleted. We have a second one nearby that we mined from. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, wow, the visibility is horrible. Let's see, there it is. And in we go. And drills operational. Crazy. Probably the biggest small grid mining ship I've built so far in all my playtime of Space Engineers. Look, the visibility is so good that the cockpit, now that the cockpit is near the bottom of the ship. Yeah, like actually I'm thinking it makes more sense to have the cockpit on spaceships at the bottom and not at the top, because on normal ships the cockpit is at the top because, well, the bottom is underwater. But in spaceships, you land on the bottom and you fly along the ground on the bottom, so if your cockpit is at the top, you can just scrape your the bottom of your ship, because you don't see what's below you. And what's above you is, well, kinda not important, because it's just the sky. If you're planet side, and in space, it's space. Plus, if you have a proper ship with a lot of upward thrust and you're doing maneuvers, you would want to not have stuff at the top, because then you could just fly into some bullets and stuff. It makes more sense to have the main cockpit at the bottom. And then at the top you can have a tower for just overseeing the landing zone. Yeah, we can't go up right now at all. So I think 280 kilos might be too much in this atmospheric density. Like if we loaded a little bit more cargo, we would have started just dropping. Oh, that's not good. Be careful. So 150 should be a more safe option. Yeah, yeah, it's... Ooh. Yeah, 200 tons is very much pushing it. Good thing we found that out before going to the gold deposit and potentially crashing our ship. But yeah, and with yield modules, this will turn into like 300 tons of iron ingots just from this one mining trip. It's crazy. Actually, some refineries have finished refining. It's pretty good. Spent so much time designing stuff. Oh, we have so much silver. And then magnesium, I guess. Yeah, a bunch of magnesium. Actually, let's check. Magnesium. Yup. Okay, I am going to cheat a little bit and look up the gold deposit on the map that I have, because I have one more gold deposit nearby our base, judging by the map. So it would be much easier for us to do that than to fly to the region very, very far away. Let's see, where is it? Well, at least the challenge is that I don't know for sure where it is. I know that it's somewhere around this area, looking by the terrain. But then I do... Oh, there it is. Yep. There it is. Oops. Do we have any more gold deposits around our base? And the map. There's few a little bit further away, but yeah, these ones that I have found, this one and the other ones that I found randomly, are the only two ones very close to this place. Pretty lucky with the first one, I guess. But yeah, eventually we'll have to just make a mobile base ship and fly over to the area that has tons of gold and other resources. Just how deep is it? You have to carefully fly to not back into a mountain. We'll make a horizontal tunnel here into the deposit. Look at the amount of sparks just flying around. This is over 100-meter long tunnel, like 150, 180 even. Took a minute, but we are here. Now we mine. So far the miner has been working really well. I do need to add a better backwards camera maybe. Oh, I think I smashed my ore detector. Yeah. Okay, let's fly out of here. I went really slow, but I guess I still accidentally hit it somewhere. Almost fully mined out the deposit, I think. Unless it's really wide. Look at the size of this tunnel. slowly fly out of it. I'm right-clicking my drills just in case. We go off the pass. And yes, the sun is setting. Any other thing we smashed accidentally? No, everything else seems to be fine. So we'll just have to repair the ore detector. Yeah, I think we might have enough components in the base even in order to do that. So we can just move it over like this. And repair. There we go. Is it fully fixed? Let's check. No, it's not. We need more detector components. Come on. We need to expand this platform to stand on. There. And some more steel plates, just in case. Alright, now it's fixed. In terms of cameras, where can we add them? We could actually add one right there. Because that would show us the whole ship. We can add one here as well. Maybe some sideways cameras as well. This thing is pretty big. Pretty cool. Pretty cool ambience. By the way, I came up with a better way to build these towers. We can use containers as a shaft. Because they are perfect size. So we can just spam a bunch of containers and then place turbines on them. It would save a lot of time. Ouch. I moved the food processor inside of there. More convenient that way. Well, the gold is refining. It's struck by debris. Honestly, a hangar might be nice. Or we can just enclose this whole thing. So many ideas. I wonder which one of them I will do. Which ones I will do. Should we expand the turbines? Actually, let's check what's the wind output right now. 50 megawatts! Look at this. Look at this. They are going crazy. In this wind. Current wind level extreme. And I guess there's a bonus to this crazy weather. And yes, there's an upside. Oh yeah, by the way, in the welder, I moved the cockpit down as well. I can't pull big components through the conveyors now into it, but it's not that important really. Seeing what you can actually build is more important. Oh, by the way, this solar panel roof is just something I made while it was still day to work on the ship and not get fried by radiation. If it works, it works. Okay, actually, look at this. Another block that's like the big container is also hydrogen tank. It's nice and round, so you could use it for those round wind turbine towers that I was talking about. For it to look nice. But like, look at the mass of conveyor junctions, 500 kilos, and then container, 2500 kilos. It's at full mass even when unwelded, but the PCU of unwelded blocks is 1, by the way. Just 1. Oh, that's another tip. If you're playing on a server, you can unweld your blocks, save on PCU. Like, actually, do we have any unwelded blocks nearby? There, PCU 1, PCU 10. So you can use large car containers even when welded to save on both mass and PCU instead of building conveyor lines. But even when unwelded, they look nice as a structural component. They are easy to place. I think that's another thing that I will do in my ships, is just... Yeah, the problems with my ships in workshop is they weren't really that easy to modify because it was just a bunch of stuff jammed very close together. And also my cargo to thrust doctrine was always, even for hydrogen ships, to have enough thrust to lift all containers full of ore, so it's like 1 kiloton per container, easily in 1G. So if you have, how would I explain it best? Oh, I'm stuck here, by the way. Oop. Let me out. Let me out. How would I explain it? Basically, they had enough thrust to accelerate upwards at 10 meters per second in 1G. And usually that looked like 4 large hydrogen thrusters per... Oh my god, please let me out. What? Holy hell. Anyways, it looked like 4 large thrusters, hydrogen ones, per cargo container. But I'm just realizing there's literally pretty much no downsides to having extra containers, because sometimes you could be on planets with low gravity or hydrogen ships just in vacuum. So there's not really any downsides to having more containers, except the ship would be bigger. But size doesn't really matter that much unless you're doing some crazy PvP meta optimization. And if you're starting to do that, then it quickly will goes downhill real fast. You end up with just flying shafts that accelerate upwards insanely fast with tons of railguns. Or you just install a gravity drive in one of them. And then tons of armor, and then they just cannot kill each other. So space engineer ships are just really funny. The combat is really funny. Either the ships are easy to kill or just straight up impossible. But the downside of grav drive designs is, first of all, they require balancing, and also they don't work in gravity. That's not like... They kind of work on the moon, but with lesser efficiency, but in 1G they don't work. Let's see, the gravity generators, they stop fully working at half G gravity, and they drop their power linearly, so in quarter G gravity on the moon they would be at half power. But the thing about gravity drives is, basically what a gravity drive is, it's having gravity generators and then having artificial mass blocks. Where are they? I don't think we haven't unlocked it. And then having artificial mass blocks. And basically what's overpowered about them is that they scale quadratically and not linearly like normal thrusters. So 1 grav gen, 1 what's this again? artificial mass is, let's say, produces 1 unit of thrust. And then 2 graph gens and 2 mass blocks produce 4 units of thrust, and it just multiplies really high. So you can get to insane thrust levels. Really, really quickly. But it doesn't work in atmosphere, so in my opinion, atmospheric combat is maybe more fun, let's just say, it, because the space combat, even without gravity generators, with just hydrogen ships, it just ends up being you spin around, roll around and thrust upwards at 2 kilometers from each other and shoot trail guns sometimes. And that's it. It can last for hours. So with hydrogen ships you will run out of fuel faster than you will die if you pilot them properly. But in atmosphere, well, you run out of fuel much faster because you have gravity to contend with. You can't just disable dampeners and roll around. You need to watch out for the terrain. And then you also have to orient yourself properly because, well, gravity. Plus you have a gravity ballistic drop, so projectiles fall downward. It just adds a lot more variety to combat. It makes it a lot more fun. Yeah, so as I was saying about the tower being grounded, yes, we found our solution. Just build the shaft out of hydrogen tanks. That are unwelded. Are there any other big blocks? I know refineries are big, but jump drives, I guess. But I don't even have them unlocked yet. Need to weld a graph gen for that. Prototech stuff. Actually, can we build Prototech? Oh no, it needs Prototech frames to even start building them. Okay, grinds to Prototech scrap. Can you only get Prototech components and scrap from encounters, or can you make them in the Prototech assembler? I don't remember. I actually will repeat a bit more about the containers. Even light blocks like interior walls that weigh 150 kilos. Compared to the container, like, in order to get the same amount of blocks as the container, I guess we have some extra here, but still it's like 15 blocks per segment. That's already 15 by 15. What's 15 by 15? 2 to 5, I think. It's very similar to the container mass. Well, I guess containers have less structural integrity, redundancy, because it's a single block compared to this, but still, you also save on PCU. Build time and... but now we are just repeating. Okay, let's do nothing for a little bit more. Look at the comparison of size between these two miners. Again, this one should have had 2 large containers, but just... so funny. Alright, let's start building, actually. What... I don't know why I'm saying this, instead of just building it and then showing it to you, because that's what you should do. Well, you shouldn't really do anything. It's what would be a better way to do it in video making, I think. But basically, we are using some cargo containers. We are expanding our base. We are starting a small... well, not small, just... we are branching off. Why can't I place you? Hello? Hello? Is it... Oh, is it because it's too deep in the terrain, maybe? I guess. You can't place it. For some reason, when you go too far away from the grid, the blocks just start disappearing. Until you reload the game. Maybe if I get out of the the cockpit, and back in, it would fix it. Yes, that fixes it. Strange. Anyway, we are making a small branch. I said small. It's not small. We are making a branch of the base. It's quite big actually. And then we are starting to build a frame for the dynamic portable mobile, that's the word. Mobile base ship thingy. Also out of large containers. Basically we'll have a shaft, a core of large car containers, and then we'll attach stuff to it. Wind turbines on top, some different processing on the sides, thrusters on the sides, and we'll just have a bunch of car containers as structural elements, so it's easy to modify and build. Damn, this is just like building small grids, but bigger. You could even say it's a large grid. Yeah. Observe my work. I need to place a decoy nearby it, because when an electric storm comes, it will just get all shredded immediately. It's night, by the way. Yep. The visibility is not great. Might need to stop some more spotlights at the base to light it up. But yeah, we'll have some wind turbine masts up here. I'm making it a little bit asymmetric, like refineries on one side, other stuff on the other. Because I think it would be cool. It would be nice. It would be so awesome. It would be... Yeah,